I think the Eagles needed more depth with that offensive line. Like you said, there's injuries. So bringing in Michael Jordan, I feel like that's a good pickup. Bigger news right now a little bit. Jalen Carter is sitting out of team drills. He's at the camp, but he's sitting out of team drills. He's looking for a bigger contract.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get that contract probably till next year. I assume we pick up his option, and we
So
don't.
how does that work? I'm not totally big on
Rookies
this.
get 4 years on, especially first round rookies. They get 4 years on their base contract. I'm pretty sure, and then you can have the option whether or not to accept or decline the 5th year.
Gotcha.
And then, which obviously, if I'm the Eagles, I'm accepting it because that means you don't have to pay him as much money, and you can push that contract off to next year. But
So how about this? What if he plays like a monster, and then you're going to have to pay him, right?
yeah, but that's what you want, and he's a guy you're gonna have to pay anyway. He's already a freak. He's already won a Super Bowl. He cemented himself. He should have been the number 1 overall pick if he didn't have off the field issues a couple years ago when we went to draft him. So.
Everything's a financial standpoint, son. They're not going to want to pay him more if they could pay him less.
So I don't know. That's up to Howie Roseman to decide. But I think we're going to give him the bag regardless. He's like our Fletcher Cox of the new age. He's a guy that, your D-line's built around him. I think you're more willing to not pay a Nolan Smith but they're both going to be on contract years. It's definitely something to look at just because of how young the team is. You don't realize because of how good we've been, how young that we are. Like DeJean's going to need a new contract. Quignon's going to need a new contract. Nolan, Jalen Carter, they're all still on rookie deals. So looking at that, you're just going to have to know where you're going to want to play your money, and that's why we're not afraid to let people go if that's what they want to do, because we have the best front office in the NFL, and they know that they can find guys that are going to want to come here and that are going to want to fit the scheme, and it's going to work out.
Okay. So I'm going to move over to the offense a little bit. Do you think that Smitty is going to fill the shoes of A.J. Brown? And here's another part to this question. Do you think another player is going to fill the shoes of the role that Smitty played for us?
That's tough. I don't think that our wide receiver 2 is going to be the caliber of receiver that Smitty was. And I don't even think that Devontae Smith is going to be the number 1 receiver that A.J. Brown was, just because I think they have 2 different play styles. I think we're going to use Devontae Smith more in a way that the Vikings use Jettas.
Okay.
Where he's catching and running in regards to just chucking it deep and letting him get that 50-50 ball or, throwing the fade, throwing the post, throwing that deep ball. But don't get me wrong, Smitty's still that receiver that can get up and go get it. He's just a smaller frame, and he's better at doing other things. So we have to be able to exploit the things that he's better at doing in regards to what we were doing with A.J. Brown. So I think that he's obviously going to have a great year. I think he's going to have probably his best year of his career, I'm hoping.
I agree.
And but we'll see. But that wide receiver 2 is super interesting just because it's going to be a guy that we haven't seen. It's going to be Mekhi Lemons, where he's going to be a question mark until we see, what he's really capable of. And then we have Wicks, who's he's not like Smitty and like the way he's built. So I think Lemon has a better chances to be like that. I know he was comped to be like an Amon-Ra St. Brown type of receiver.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he went to USC as well as Mekhi Lemon did too. So that'd be awesome, just because, that's kind of similar to what Smitty was. So if we can get that kind of production out of Mekhi Lemon, that's the ultimate upside. But you can't expect that in the rookie year. So I'm just hoping that he gets his footing in the league and he gets comfortable enough to where he can be that wide receiver 2, and he's not expecting to be a wide receiver 1, just playing his role and doing the best he can at it.
We'll see. Big question marks going into the season with this offense.
Definitely.